Three, two. What's up, everybody? Welcome to BaDumBizz. Anthony Frieda here. You know my voice. You're sick of it. So here's another voice. Here's my buddy Will Lewis from PhantasmaPhonic. Welcome, Will.
Hi, how's everybody doing? Thank you so much. I'm really excited to be here. Thank you so much, Anthony, for having me on your podcast.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I want to actually just give a little introduction to how I know Will. You know, when you in life you meet somebody, you're like, that fucking person, that dude was cool. She was awesome. Will's one of those people like, that fucking guy is cool. I like that guy. I want to hang out with that guy. And so anyway, I met Will through a friend. I think my roommate at the time. And you were over the
Yep.
house.
Yep.
You were just part of the hang,
Yep.
and we had great conversation.
Yep.
I think we were checking out each other's like YouTube pages and whatever.
Instagram pages and stuff.
Instagram.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's right.
Yep.
And I hadn't seen you for a while, and then I remember like you were over again because you were hanging out with my roommate, and I was like, he's here, let's fucking hang. And again, another great hang. And then so now it has gone beyond that to now we are collaborating.
Yeah, officially. Yep.
I think we're buds. I think that our conversations for sure has solidified a friendship because we've gotten some deep conversations.
Yeah.
All positive, of course, supporting. And so let's jump right into it, man. So let's talk about PhantasmaPhonic.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Okay, great. Thank you. So PhantasmaPhonic is my music endeavor right now. And basically it's like my music project where I've been creating, I've been creating songs, like original songs, mostly original songs from scratch, and just kind of showing off my production and guitar playing skills and songwriting skills in an effort to start building a library of songs that could be used for all kinds of media, like TV shows, video games. A lot of my songs, people say, would sound really good for video games or like Netflix series and stuff.
Definitely,
Awesome. Yeah. So I've been kind of building that up, and now I've been taking it into a new direction where now that I have a core base of about 35 or so songs, I'm now branching out and starting to do collaborations with other artists, also in an effort to continue to build that library, but also to build a network of people and build our own libraries together, and just network through each other, and build more of an audience and a fan base with each other, and just to get to know a lot of other awesome artists and stuff. So that's kind of where I'm at now.
I love it. I mean, I like the you think about a musical artist, and you usually think of somebody who's a loner, somebody who's more their intent is to build their own, right? And
right.
I really like the angle you're coming from it. Not that it's like an angle, like it's a natural place of, man, I'm enjoying this, and I'm enjoying what that person's doing and this person's doing. I actually want to, why not work together?
Yeah, that's exactly right.
I mean, why should I have all the spoils of war, right? So I love that. I come from the same place, man. Look, man, I'm just a guy who sits behind the drums and maybe plays some cool beats. I don't need all the fans, man. Plus, I don't think I can entertain that many people for that long.
Right.
So it's nice to throw it's nice to shine a light on somebody who actually might be way more talented than me in many different ways. I'm gonna talk about why I think you inspire me in other ways besides music. Because, correct me if I'm wrong, you're an audio engineer.
Yeah.
And you have like professional experience.
Oh yeah. I've done quite a few songs and albums and EPs and stuff for other artists.
Full mixes, full albums.
Yeah. Full mixes where they've come in. So I had a studio where I would bring bands in and I would record them from the ground up, miking the drum set, quantizing the drums, the whole 9 yards, melodyning the vocals, mixing everything. And Ed Littman, he's a mastering engineer. He would master a lot of my stuff. He still does it from time to time. He's an excellent mastering engineer. I just want to call out him, Ed Littman with 2 T's, Littman. And yeah, so I had like a business going like that. Yeah. And I was busy like every day, where I had, towards the end, I was like several months where people would have to wait to come in and
Whoa,
get to work with me. I was really excited about it, man.
that's
Yeah.
fucking awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. And I did like about several hundred songs that way.
That's
Yeah.
fucking awesome. So okay,
Yeah.
so audio engineer pro at it, right? You're guaranteed to, and like that, that label, we'll call it a label, or we'll call it like a weapon on your belt of, whatever fuck I'm trying to say. Um, if somebody were to be like, "Hey, Will, are you interested? And I'll compensate you to mix my material." You could
Yeah.
totally, you're able to do that,
Yes. Oh, yes. Yes. Absolutely.
and
It's
that's
what
really
I do.
cool. That's fucking really cool, and
Yeah.
it's so easy these days, right? With just send
Hmm.
me the files. You know what I
Yep.
mean? Send me the
Yep.
stems. So that's okay. So that's one thing. Okay, you're a writer, right? You write music and
Yeah.
produce music, right?
Yeah, production
Production
and
and writing.
writing. Those have been
Go
like
ahead.
my big things since I was a child, actually. If I could say briefly, when I was, this is kind of partially my story. When I was 11 years old, I found my father's Mustang guitar. It was seafoam green, I'm pretty sure, in the attic. And he had some guitar pedals, and he didn't play. My father actually had a hand accident. He was making bombs when he was a teenager, and it blew up and it blew his pinky off, right?
Oh my
So this is
god.
great podcast info. I'm just going to go straight into stuff, right? I've watched
Oh my.
podcasts. I know what you guys want,
Yeah,
right?
man.
You want stories. I got stories. So he would take like little cylinders, like the plastic, the cardboard insert for like paper towel rolls, put wax on the bottom, and then shave off the match heads, right? And then bang them down and put wax in a wick. And when I was growing up, this guy was wild. When I was growing up, he had a pipe, and he showed me a pipe that he blew up with one of these bombs that he made, right?
Oh my
Right.
god.
So anyway, the story is he had his finger around the tube like this, his pinky around the tube to keep it from falling, and he was banging it, and it went off a spark or whatever. So my father had a couple guitars, but he couldn't really play because he was missing a finger, right? So but he was really into rock music. So, well, when he was younger, at least. So I found this guitar up in the attic that he just had floating around. It was some guitar pedals, and it was mainly it was a distortion, it was a delay pedal, and it was a phaser pedal, right? So he also had like an Akai tape deck, right? Like this
Okay.
really nice Akai tape deck that was like $1,000 or something when he was younger, right? It had like a glass crystal head on it. It was like part of like
Whoa.
the what made this thing special. Anyway, so what I figured out was, and this was when I was 11, and this is what made everything change in my life, was I found out that if I could play the guitar, and I had no idea how to play, but I would use the delay pedal, and you could use the feedback and create all these noises and stuff, right? I would record that into the tape deck, but then I would take that tape out of the tape deck, I would stick that tape into my Walkman, and I would put a new tape into the tape deck, and I would take the guitar and plug it into a Y cable with the Walkman plugged in at the same time. I
What
would hit play on the Walkman, and I would multi-track over the tape, the tape from the Walkman onto the tape deck. And I would just keep swapping tapes, and I would layer. And that's how I
Holy
learned
shit.
how to record. I had no idea how to play guitar. This is why I say production and soundscaping and writing and composition is definitely my favorite thing, because that's where it all started. So
Whoa.
I made all these tapes growing up where, and I learned that as I would record, things would lose quality and they would lose volume. So I would record things earlier, right? And I
Gotcha.
had these little, like my aunt had a cat, which her name was Scrungy, the cat, right? So
Scrunchie the cat.
Scrungy, yeah. So she had these little like balls. The cat balls had little bells in them, And I would take two microphones and I would shake them side to side. So I would create this stereo side to side, right? And then I would take the tape and flip it, and then I'd start playing some guitar noises over it. And, and then eventually when I was like 12, about a year into this, I eventually like found, what happened was I had, you have that week or so off from Christmas to New
Yep.
Year's,
Yep.
and I came home and I had a guitar book. And I was like, I'm doing this. I'm doing this.
Oh,
Now that
dude.
was when I was 12. So I
Nice,
was like,
man.
I'm sitting down. I'm going to do this. So I learned like C, G, D, all that stuff within that like week or two. And then I just kept going from there and
And
started.
guitar is your
Yeah.
main, would you say your main
Yes,
instrument?
no doubt. Yeah. By far it's my main instrument. Yeah.
I just want to reflect on what you just said, man. So
Okay.
all that story,
Yeah.
that's the definition of creativity. You know what I
I
mean?
mean, I
Like,
have to say in hindsight, I'm pretty proud of my 11-year-old self for it.
you absolutely should be, because
Yeah.
now I'm going to follow up with a question, but you had to, so essentially you had ideas in your head, we'll call it your mind's ear or your
Mm,
mind's speaker. You wanted to hear something
mm,
just from experimentation,
mm-hmm.
and you had to figure out how the
Mm-hmm.
fuck I want these sounds to happen together.
Oh
Now,
yeah.
did you just playing around, did you stumble upon that technique of multi-tracking, or did it
Bro, I
make
just
sense to
came,
you?
bro, I just came up with it, man.
Really?
It's like really one of my things I'm really proud of. Like it was when I was just a kid, I literally was just sitting there and I was like, if I take that cable and I take that tape and I put it out and I put it in my Walkman, I might be able to play the tape and my guitar again and put them together. And then when I
Holy shit.
realized I could, I was like, what if I do it again? And I swapped the tapes and I just keep going.
We can like quote that as primitive multi-tracking
Oh yeah,
almost,
yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah,
Like
totally.
or like pantry,
Yeah,
pantry
yeah.
multi-tracking. Like you
Entry
just took
level.
what was, yeah, you took what was around, but
Yeah,
the
no doubt.
concept of it,
Mm-hmm.
that's funny, man, because I'm trying to think of like, and I work at a school that students get taught production, how to work the board, what compression
Yeah,
is, EQ.
excellent.
So that concept, sometimes I imagine that these students can't even really grasp the concept of it as they're learning how to use the tools, right?
Yeah,
But
it takes a lot of abstract thought. Yeah,
a lot of
yeah,
abstract. I mean, even for me, when I first started doing it about 4 or 5 years ago, yeah, absolutely. I was like, what?
yeah.
I don't understand any of this crap.
Mm-hmm.
But I can turn knobs and faders and all that. But you had the concept of it, and then created the technique, I guess you would call it, or you created a way, you found a way that worked
Yeah,
for you.
yeah.
And then every time you ran into some issue, you said like the degrading volume every time
Mm-hmm.
you added, right?
Yeah.
You came up with a solution for that too,
Exactly.
right?
Yep. And that's probably the biggest takeaway lesson from the whole thing is that wasn't that I came up with that, but that I saw the problem and pushed through and found a solution. And that's what having a music career is really all about, because it's
Yes.
nothing but nonstop problems, period.
Yes. Yes.
Literally from every angle, whether it's on the business end or a technical end or software or hardware or whatever. And whenever you think you've put out enough fires, a new one pops up again.
Yep.
And that was probably the biggest takeaway was that it was I guess just the intuitive nature to problem solve there, because that's what this is all about. This is a lot of problem solving. Even writing songs is problem solving.
Absolutely.
It's literally, for me, writing a song is like creating these puzzle pieces and then trying to find ways to put it together in some
Yep.
ways, and it's all problem solving. Like what kind of riff or lick, or even what key should I bring the tempo up here? Like our song, I was listening to it, I was like halfway done recording it, and I just stopped and said, it's slightly too slow. There's something about it. And I sped it up to, like 8 BPM or something. And I was like, yep, it just sits a little bit better.
I do want to get into that, the
Yes.
song, but
Yes.
I got to ask this question first, though.
Mm-hmm.
So this is the question I wanted to follow up with, which is, this concept that you had in your head, and you wanted to hear these sounds together.
Yeah.
Did you have a model for that? Meaning, were you listening to music up
Right.
to that point that you
Right.
kind of got like a sort of like a reference?
Right. No, not really. I could tell you,
Really?
like, for me, I feel like, first off, there's no one way that I write a song, right? There's ways I write more often than not, like maybe on a guitar more. I don't know, right? But generally, it's like a feeling that I have that I just express intuitively with, it just comes out intuitively in an audio kind of way. It's partially why I even call my channel PhantasmaPhonic. My tagline is conjuring apparitions of auditory illusion.
I love it.
It means like I'm just creating sounds out of nothing.
Yes.
Basically what I'm trying to say. You know what I'm
Yes.
saying? PhantasmaPhonic, like the the ghost in the sound, in a sense, you know, the
Yes.
apparition that's just, it's conjured up from your feelings. It's not even necessarily there. Sound isn't really a physical thing. It's
Yes.
waves, right? You know, so it's like just something I feel inside. Like I heard your beat and I had an emotion, and that emotion intuitively came out in that way. I didn't necessarily sit there and be like, yeah, this is what I want. I mean, to some degree, yes, but it's more like some guidelines. I do like working within guidelines. That's another thing I like doing, where
Of
I
course.
give myself like rules, you know what I mean? Like, okay, I'm going to do this, but I won't do this and this and this, because I know that that may take away from the end goal, and you know, becomes like where you're like mining for the smallest piece of gold. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like you're trying to make the tiniest little part that in the end nobody's going to care about. You know what I mean?
But
So
you care about it. It's important to you, and right.
oh,
It
what I'm saying, what I'm
yeah.
trying to say is I try not to get too carried away with some of that. But yes, no, definitely, like I like to pay attention to every little detail, though. Yes, for sure, for
Yeah,
sure.
man. I mean,
Um,
I can hear
mhm,
it. I can hear it in your music
yeah.
that I've heard, right? I've heard, and you have a lot of music too.
Yes.
Um,
Yes.
so okay. So let's get into the song then. So I'll just briefly. It came from me just kind of during this. Was it before the quarantine that I sent that? Yeah, right
I
or
think
no?
so. Or it's like right as it was starting.
As was
Yeah.
starting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was kind of reaching out to like people I know that are very creative. And I thought, you know what? I have this folder of beats that I kind of in my old studio, my old house.
Yep.
This is about a year or so
Yep.
ago. I just sat down one day, said I have video for a lot of it, but for the folder I sent you, I don't think I think I lost the video too. So that's why it was just sitting around. That's what it was. So I had this folder of beats and I played them on the drum set, and they were
Mm,
kind of like they had like a produced drum sound in mind. So they might have had like I mixed it so it might have sounded as though it was electronic, right?
mm-hmm.
That was
Mm-hmm.
my goal. I guess it
Mm-hmm.
was relatively successful. So I
Mm-hmm.
shared this folder with you, and out of that folder, you picked this particular beat that I'm actually proud of. That beat because again, I stumbled upon with some sort of rhythmic sticking with
Yeah.
between
Yeah.
the drumsticks. I
Yeah.
stumbled upon this pattern,
Yeah.
and
It's really cool.
oh, dude,
Yeah.
it's one of
It's a
my
really
favorite.
cool pattern.
Man, I'm proud of it. And so anyway, so you took the beat, right? And you eventually did you loop it eventually? Did you have to like cut it
Yeah.
up and
So
loop it?
I took your beat. I found where I liked the loop. The loop's not even one solid loop. I actually pieced it together a little bit.
Oh, word.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it's like one part of the loop, but I think like say if we divided it into 4 sections, I think the
Yeah.
fourth section is like a copy of the first section. I don't remember
Okay.
exactly, or from another part that I moved in. And then I did like quantizing to it. I
Yep.
quantized it and locked it to the grid. I initially didn't, and I had it kind of that way, and then I eventually did. The song went through several changes along the way. Um, and
And
then, like
you
I
know
said, brought the
why?
tempo up.
But you know why?
It wasn't to a click, right?
Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah,
So I got to pay you a compliment. I didn't put a click on when I
right.
recorded these things, right? So they were just like, all right, let me groove. I captured it. Great. And maybe I can toot my own horn that it was consistent enough for you to
Oh yeah,
use some of it. Because
no doubt. Yeah.
if I was like
Hmm.
more drastically inconsistent, it would have been unusable,
Yeah,
right? So,
yeah. It would have
but
made it a lot harder.
for you though, for you
Yeah.
again, you put the work in to kind of trim the fat and put it
Hmm.
together so that was one solid.
Yep.
So I have to pay you a compliment for that because, by the way, because I wouldn't know how to do
Well, I mean,
that.
that's a big part though, is because you did play so consistently and you had really nice feel. You know what I mean?
Thank you.
Yeah,
Appreciate that.
and I think that's the big thing, and that's partially why I'm enjoying working with you and other people, is being able to take other people's feel and kind of work off of that, you know, in ways that I wouldn't. Like, as much as I took what you did and all blah blah blah, this song would not exist had it not started with you making that drum beat. You know what I mean? So
That
that's
makes
awesome.
me feel so good, man. And I think I texted it to you when I heard the final mix and I saw you have a
Yeah.
video too that you so Will puts out videos for Phantasmaphonic too
Yeah.
of him playing along to the songs, his
Right.
guitar. It's really fucking cool. They're really
Thank
good
you.
videos, really good
Thank
quality
you.
videos. So when I saw the final product now, because you had me play along with the song with some
Yep.
video. I sent that to you,
Yep.
and then you did this like side by side kind of. You edited this really cool video of the two of us playing along.
Yep.
And I remember saying to you, I said, I feel proud to be a part of this
Mm.
because you took something that to me was sitting in a folder, man. That could be a box in a storage locker to me
Yeah.
in
Right.
real life, right?
Right.
And you made like something very special with it,
Mm.
and that kind of reinforced to me, like, you know what, maybe the things that I think are shit aren't
Mm-hmm.
that bad. Maybe I should,
Nah.
like,
Yep.
share it more.
Yep.
Man, you did
And it
such you
goes to
did a
show you could make your own drum packs, man. I
I,
literally treated it like a drum pack.
but you know what though, man, you know what though, I gotta tell you, because this is kind of a joke I have, is like, that's what drummers are doing who were making most of their money recording for years. Eventually they're like, okay, I have to ensure that I get a steady stream of income, so I'm just going to do one of these drum packs.
Mm-hmm.
But here's what they have to do for hours. It's like, and it'll be like, okay, thin light ride cymbal,
Yeah.
strike hard.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And they have to wait until the sustain is done. You know what I mean? They have to do the
Yeah.
same
Oh
thing with,
yeah.
like, tom tuned
Yeah.
low.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, dude, I would lose my love for
Yeah.
anything creative while
Yep.
doing that. So absolutely, I do not want to do that. But I would, however, love to make a bunch of beats that were like, hey,
That's good
anybody could
enough,
use
though.
this.
Yeah. Honestly, you make a bunch of beats and then you just do even one nice solid hit on every instrument and you let it fully decay. And you're even just that alone
Even that alone, right?
even that alone is really good. Yeah.
And it's, yeah, sort of like, yeah. I mean, I get what you're saying too, which is, hey, if you like this beat, or as I should
Hmm.
say, if you don't like this beat, but you like the sounds of this beat, here are the sounds.
Yeah, exactly. And then
And
you
you
can
do what
make
you
your own
want.
if you'd like. Yep.
That's a good idea. See, this is
Yep.
what I'm talking about. Will's got ideas. He's
Yep.
so creative. No, there are no you always find a way around. That's
You
I like.
have to. You have to. Yeah.
I really like
Just
that.
no choice. There's just no choice. Otherwise, this will leave you behind like so quickly. And there's nothing like there's like no worse feeling than putting so much of your time into your music career and then just like seeing it just left behind so fast. And you're like, like it's partially what keeps me going, I think.
I mean, that's the other thing though. Like, you are essentially, with that inclusion idea too.
Yeah.
This is not easy. This is a lot, even with your skill set. It's still a lot of work.
Yeah, definitely.
Right.
Very time consuming.
Time consuming.
Mm-hmm.
And your standard is going to grow as far as like the quality.
Yep.
You're always going to want to see, if can I get a better quality, which means
Absolutely.
you're going to always kind of put some work on your shoulders.
Mm-hmm.
But I think a good balanced sense of like hard work and pressure,
mm-hmm.
But to challenge yourself to make your product better, right? So I mean, I could say that I as far as when you said career, if and I challenge you with this question, because I have to reinforce this for myself these days. If you don't make more than what you would make in 1 year, ideally, for salary, let's say, if you had like a 9 to 5 or whatever, if you make about that your entire career, was it worth it still?
Yeah.
Fuck
yeah, because of all of the, I don't know, man, you live once, right? And I don't think anybody is going to be at the end of their life wishing they worked more. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm trying to impart, like, it's also like a legacy that you get to leave. You know what I mean? You're not just leaving a legacy of being another person working in an office, which I'm not saying anything wrong about that. There are plenty of people who have families that they're supporting, that they're leaving incredible, impeccable legacies. And what they do in their office is irrelevant. What they're doing with their families is incredible. And the office is giving them the finances to do that. And I completely respect that. But in this situation, where I am taking the chance of just trying to continue to be a creative person through thick or thin, you know what I mean? it's definitely worth it, man. Like there's just certain things like I've gotten to do or people I've gotten to meet or moments that I've had that I couldn't imagine not having. Like for instance, I worked on I worked on the SSL board that was used to mix the Lion King soundtrack, dude.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
That's cool,
Yeah.
dude.
Isn't that cool?
That's really cool.
Yeah. You know, like did I hear the King soundtrack through it? No.
That's
But
okay.
when I was growing up, I took the Lion King movie and I dubbed it onto audio because I liked it so much that when I couldn't be with in front of the TV, I would listen to it or go to bed listening to it in my
Wow.
headphones. Later in my life, I got to work on the board that was used to mix the soundtrack
That's
for it.
fucking incredible.
I'm blown away by that. You know what I'm saying? So there's like moments like that that I'm
Of
just
course.
genuinely like really proud of. You know what I mean? And really happy that I've gotten to have, you know?
Absolutely, man.
Yeah.
I'm glad you said that, because, and I hope if they're, whoever's listening to this, if you're a creative person, what Will's saying is, he essentially just has an itch for
Yeah.
this. He loves it.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that he just he's able to create and now share
Mm-hmm.
his creations, that's enough.
Yeah.
But however, there is, I think so, at least I think there's plenty of opportunity for you to make an income doing this.
Yeah. Yes. Absolutely. Yep.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Without a doubt, to me, for
Right.
sure.
Right.
Just listening and seeing the quality of the products that you
Mm-hmm.
produce yourself,
Mm.
it's a very impressive.
Thank you.
So
If I may, like when I was, so, I've had this career for, almost several decades now, but, since I've started. And, years ago, like I said, I was recording other bands for profit, and I still do that from time to time, where I'll do like mixing or a mastering gig or something like that. And that's great. And then I also was in a band where I was the guitarist and I also did the production and stuff for, and I've been in other bands as well, where I'm the guitarist and I do a bulk of the writing or whatever, blah, blah, blah. And I feel like where I'm going now with PhantasmaPhonic is like I'm taking all of that, and instead of like, it's like the next level of working for yourself. It's like I quit my job to work in music, but when I worked in music, I was still working on other people's music. I was still
yes.
working for somebody else. You know what I'm
Yes.
saying? And then even as I broke even more away from that and I started to work in my own bands and tour and,
Yep.
survive off of that, I still, at the end of the night, they would hang out with the singer. It was the singer. It was, you know what I'm
Oh
saying?
yeah.
I'm just the guy in the back who's like, dude, I wrote the guy's harmonies. You know what I mean? Like literally, whatever. Okay. Whatever. And I know that's part of it. So I don't really mind,
Cool.
but it got to the point where I felt like I needed to put myself as the forward thing, as the artist this time. You know what I'm saying? And that's kind of why I started this now. And, in the beginning, it was incredible. I was like, did get a good response, but also I was just like this. I don't even feel like naked. You know what I'm saying?
Oh
It's
yeah. I mean,
like these
yeah.
are completely my songs and like nobody else is part of this. So, and I made that thing where I was like, every week I'm going to make a new one.
That's right. That's right. I do
That was
remember
the
that,
other
man.
thing to my channel where
Oh
for
my God.
over 30 weeks, I missed 1 week, I think.
Holy
I
shit.
made one song every week and released it with a music video.
Can we just real fast? I want to spell that out for listeners.
Yeah.
Okay. So Will came up, first of all, he came up with a concept, and it could have been, right? It could have been a melody that was in your head. It could have been you on your guitar searching for a sound,
Yep.
whatever it
Exactly.
might be.
Whatever, however it starts.
And you built around that.
Mm-hmm.
And you just, you kind of follow the breadcrumbs of motivation and
That's pretty
right,
accurate.
inspiration, right? And
Yeah.
so even that alone, to come up with the song, right? Now Will has to record all the parts.
Mm-hmm.
He has to make sure they're lined up and multi-track them, mix them in terms of EQ, compress them, and then get make a full sonic product.
Yes.
Right. But that's not all you were doing.
Mm-hmm.
You were also creating video content of, like I said before, of you playing along with the song.
Yeah.
But it wasn't just like, I guess I'll put my phone and I'll duct tape it to the wall and whatever.
Right.
No, you have really good quality, I think really good quality
Thank you.
video.
I'm trying,
Multiple
it's a work in
angles.
progress.
You have even the dude. I think I complimented you on this when I first started seeing your videos. That the logo, the lighting of the
Mm-hmm.
room, plus the angles and the video
Mm-hmm.
quality. I mean, dude, it looked like. How about this? It looked like when I clicked, and I remember it was like the first 2 or 3 weeks of you putting these out. I remember clicking and watching the video and going, "This looks fucking cool," and then expecting to see hundreds of thousands of views and likes because the quality was
Maybe
so
one day.
good.
Oh, thank you.
But
Thank you.
that's what I mean. I'm not.
Yeah.
Who gives a shit about
Maybe
that?
one day.
I think so. But I think so. And your persistence also too. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
to see, holy shit, here's week 5. He's got another one. Holy
Yep.
shit, how many weeks is this? And then
Yep.
30 weeks. You said.
I was like 35 or so, something like that.
Holy fuck,
Yeah,
man.
it was well
That's
over
a
half a year.
lot. That's a
Yeah.
lot of work.
Yeah.
Like one song
Yeah.
in a week is enough to
Yeah.
burn me out. So I have to pay a lot of compliments for that, dude.
Yeah, it was a
Holy
struggle and I
shit.
got burnt out quite often.
Man,
But I knew I needed to do it. It was something I knew I needed to do. Like I have to create a portfolio.
you're like a Navy SEAL of a creative artist at this point after doing that,
Yeah.
probably, right?
Yeah.
Your ability to produce, come up, make
Well,
make a
that
product.
was what was really helpful was which we can talk about at some point, but I had an injury and that kind of caused me to take a little bit of a hiatus, especially playing guitar. Actually, the dreaded finger injury that every
Oh, man.
musician, I had it. You know what I
Oh,
mean? So, which we'll talk about, but I've moved past it. And but there was a couple of years there where I like legitimately just couldn't play, like basically on a dime, it stopped.
oh my God.
And production was difficult too, especially because production is a lot of work, and part of the way you mitigate a lot of that work is through shortcut keys, and it's hard to do shortcut keys with the bum finger, and when you try using just your mouse, you wind up literally overworking your other finger, like
Yep.
your mouse clicking finger. And
Yep.
that was becoming an issue. I mean, it was like everything I was working for is slipping through my hand like sand, you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
But anyway, on my comeback, with PhantasmaPhonic, initially when I first started PhantasmaPhonic, a big part of why I was doing this was to get back into the flow of things. I can't go around and say, hey guys, let me mix your stuff for a profit if I haven't professionally mixed something in a couple years and I don't really have any momentum in that regard going, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
Or, do you want me to be in your band professionally, or do you want me to produce you professionally? Stuff like that. Because that's what I was doing prior. I was producing bands. I was not just recording. When bands would come to me, I would say to them, do you want me to engineer you or engineer and produce you? That means I could either just hit record and I'll keep my mouth shut and that's fine. I have no problem doing that. Or I'll produce you and I will quite literally become like the 5th member of your band, or however you want to perceive it. You know what I mean? And that was something I wanted to get back to, was kind of showing that I was able to do that. And I was like, the only way to do that is to just start doing it for myself, start producing myself and putting myself out there again. And as soon as I started doing that, like immediately I started getting like, some work and some followers and started to get some momentum, even self-esteem back in that regard.
Not a surprise though, man. Not because again, it speaks for itself, the quality of the work.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. I mean, I really want to push this forward. Like, I feel like I've listened to a lot of different music growing up, and a short part of my childhood growing up was that I was also raised evangelical. And in that, my father and my family would only let me listen to Christian music. So 2 things happened with that. The one thing is that secular music became a taboo, which became like this prized thing. You know what I mean? Like,
Yes.
I must get, and
Yeah.
that made music like even more enticing for me.
Yeah.
And it also made music like this sweet honey that I needed to taste. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So that really increased the value of music to my young mind. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And it created the second thing, and that is I have this whole other influence of music that nobody knows. This Christian rock in the 90s and the 80s, man, it was awesome.
Really?
And there is so many songs that none of you guys know at all that are huge influences for me.
Wow.
Melodically, playing wise, genre, all these different things, how the mixes sound, all of these different things that like nobody knows. Like such a small
Yeah.
group of people know. I could name drop bands that I still listen to this day that nobody really knows. So I have the influence of like, you know, everything from like Wu-Tang Clan to AC/DC, you know, like everybody, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? But then I also have like influences like bands like Starflyer 59, which I know you don't know,
No, I
or
don't.
bands, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, and then even more like mainstream Christian bands like Whiteheart and Petra. Those were bands you probably still don't even know them, and those were huge. And I've gone to the Christian festivals and like Creation and stuff like that. So there's this, but I also still did listen to like Nine Inch Nails and all of these things, right? There were counterparts to like Christian counterparts to a lot of these bands, like Circle of Dust was a band I was in love with. That guy eventually turned into making music for like MTV basketball hoops from the 90s.
Okay.
Remember they would play basketball, all the celebrity basketball, whatever.
I actually
He
don't
did a
remember
lot
that.
of,
No.
yeah, there was a Christian dude literally making the music for that. And then he went on to make a band called Argyle Park. And then he has this thing now called Cell Dweller. That's
Okay.
amazing. You know what I mean? And now he's, you know, does all kinds of stuff. People are just getting to know this guy. I've literally been listening to this guy for like 25 years. You know
Holy
what I'm
shit,
saying?
man.
So that's another big part, I think, of
No
my,
pun intended.
yeah,
Sorry.
yeah, literally. And then I also do like a lot of different styles too. Like I grew up in Elizabeth, New Jersey. So I grew up in a lot of diversity. I grew up listening to like bachata, merengue, and salsa and all of that kind of stuff. You know, I also like, you know, I grew up listening to hip hop. I mean, I was listening to Hot 97
Hot
in like
97.
the mid 80s.
Oh
No
shit.
joke, 1986. I
Oh
would stay
shit.
up late at night to listen to, I think it was like Funkmaster Flex or one of them that was like just getting started at the time.
Holy
It was
shit.
either him or oh, I don't want to say, I can't remember the other one's name. One of those guys, you know what I'm saying? So like I had all these different influences, Celtic music. I'm like in love with new age music. I really like listening to, I mean, you know, country I've gotten into over the years, you know what I mean? Of course, rock, you know, stuff like that. The
Yeah.
Cure was one of my favorite bands growing up. Smashing Pumpkins was one of my favorite bands growing up, you know? So anyway,
No, I mean,
so yeah, you know,
I think it's great. It knowing that um makes me even more excited to hear what you're going to come up with, because you have so much to reference
yeah,
in terms of creativity that you can sort of not borrow from, but you know, be inspired by.
absolutely. Yep.
Um, and the other thing, I guess, it reinforces this idea. You know, I learned this in college from a great, very smart professor who said there is to a full class of people, there is no such thing as bad music. Now,
Mm-hmm.
to say that to this is a classical, you know, that's kind of where we were with classical training, right? You're saying that to a bunch of classical music students, they go, "The
Yeah.
fuck are you talking about?
Yeah.
There's no such thing."
Have you
And
heard of trap
basically,
music? No, I actually love. I love trap music.
I don't mind
That
it at
shit
all.
is
I like the
dirty.
beats, man. I mean, like
Yeah,
I don't care. I can
like a
listen to it.
third of my channel is trap music.
There you go. um, but her reasoning for saying that was because there's no such thing as bad music. It's a false statement because there could always be somebody who likes it,
Yeah.
right? So exactly what I guess kind of that goes along with what you said, which is you have so many influences and you're
Hmm.
open-minded to those influences, and you're not pushing away based on maybe like societal, cultural,
Yep.
whatever, like
Yep.
connotations.
Hmm.
Uh, and I think that's going to come without a doubt come through your creation
Yep.
when you make music. So
Yep.
that's cool, dude. That's really
Yep.
cool to hear that, man.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. I mean, I'm definitely. I definitely feel like I have a little bit of a wider net cast for inspiration for certain things. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
You know, I don't want to even say more because I don't like comparing, but I definitely have my own. I'll put it that way. It's
yeah,
it's been made unique by some of these artists growing up that not many people got to hear. You know what I mean?
yeah. That's
Because they
great,
were,
man.
you know.
You got me interested in listening and checking that stuff out
Oh,
too,
I could definitely show you some stuff, man. Like all kinds of bands that I grew up listening to that I still to this day think are worth listening to, you know?
I'd be
And they're
down for
not
that,
just
man.
like shoving down like the Christian message down your throat or anything. Like it's
I'd be
funny,
down
a
to
lot of
hear.
these bands, like you won't even realize they're Christian. They were just on Christian labels.
Yeah, Mute Math apparently was.
Yeah, I've
Know
heard
that
that.
band?
Yeah, I remember Mute Math. I've seen them live.
Great, fucking great band. Well, actually,
Yeah.
one of my top favorite bands.
Well, the drummer, dude.
The drummer Darren King.
Yeah.
I mean, they apparently, yeah, they apparently came from that angle of
Mm-hmm.
Christian music,
Mm-hmm.
Christian rock or whatever. So, but I remember when I learned that, I was like, I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
This music's so good.
Yeah.
It's so too good to ignore
Yeah.
for that reason.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you this, right? Like, I'm pretty sure Fueled by Ramen is owned by Tooth and Nail. And anybody watching this can double check that. But Tooth and Nail Records is a Christian record, right? Because Tooth and Nail is like a Christian expression. And that I watched Tooth and Nail start from the beginning. It got destroyed, unfortunately. I had a flood that actually, like from Hurricane Irene about 10 or so years ago. And I unfortunately lost a lot of these things, like these tapes I made when I was a kid. And it was a couple unfortunate things that happened. But one of the things that I even had the sampler packs from when Tooth and Nail Records was just starting out. You know, this is way before that moved on to other things, you know what I mean? And got more into like secular stuff or whatever, you know. Aaron Sprinkle, who produces most of that stuff, and he's on like a bunch of stuff. He was in a band called Poor Old Lou that was on Blonde Vinyl Records. And if anybody knows anything I'm saying right now, I guarantee you their hair is standing up hearing me say all this stuff, because it's got to be so nostalgic for them. You know what I mean? This guy is now like a big deal, like behind the scenes kind of guy. I met him 20 something years ago, you know, when he was still playing in Poor Old Lou. And then he turned out to, I think he's part of all of that now. I think that's where Fueled by Ramen comes from. I'm pretty sure. If it's not them, it's another label.
Fueled by Ramen is a label?
Is a label that like Paramore is or was on. And I think like Under Oath and stuff. Some of this I might be slightly off, but anybody viewing can please check. But I'm pretty sure.
Those two groups, by the way, Under Oath and Paramore, you know, if anybody's listened to that stuff, I'll be honest, I didn't like take that on as that's a band that I listened to. However, every time I heard a track, it was always like, God damn, it's quality performance on recording. And that I mean, that's what I look for essentially. I've been actually blown away by it. There was one Paramore song blew me away. I don't even remember the song, but it had like a gospel choir in the background.
Oh,
yeah.
The
song.
Yeah.
Amazing song. I really like that song.
It's funny you say that, because I think if it's a song I'm thinking of, it's the one where How You Feel Being in the Real World.
Dude, I'm trying.
Yeah. So I know a little bit about Paramore more from the back end, because of one of the bands I worked with Paramore, same producer. They had the same producer, which is at the time it was the guy from Elmwood Park. Oh geez, he would hate me if I didn't say his name right now. Oh my gosh, I can't remember his name. I'm the worst right now.
No,
I'm the worst. But yeah, they had the same producer or whatever, so I know a little bit about that. And I'm pretty sure that song's about the bass player who was kicked out of the band or whatever, some drama.
Oh wow.
Whatever. Yeah.
Dude, that's cool. That's cool. That's cool that you kind of like. I didn't give any information about it other than there being a gospel choir, and that's like your brain is. Are you one of those? Your brain is like you remember shit like small details.
So when I was on tour, one of the things that I was useful for was I always knew where everybody's shit was. People would literally be like, "Dude, can you tell me where the hell's my watch?" And I'd be like, "Oh, I saw it. It fell behind like this thing, blah, blah, blah." And they'd be like, "Dude," every time I would just like, I don't have like a photographic memory, but I definitely, I don't know, like a little Rolodex. Awesome. I'll be like,
your ability to track things and remember. Yeah. That's fucking, that's useful. And I bet you that helps your creativity.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about this song that we worked on,
or that you worked on?
I didn't do anything on it, other really.
well, the first thing is, I made two. I didn't just make one.
Oh, sweet.
I have another song I made that using your drums.
Really?
Yeah.
Did I not hear it yet?
No.
Oh shit! I'm
Yeah,
so
and it's
excited.
from like when you first gave them to me too. Yeah, like the bulk of the song I made from your thing was
Yeah.
like I made right away, dude. Yeah,
Oh
yeah,
shit, dude!
yeah,
I'm
man.
so excited
So
now.
I have another, and I'll show it to you so we can talk about our song. It's going to be a different one. I'm going to show you.
Oh, dude, I can't wait.
Yeah, I just love, bro. I seriously love writing, man. Like it just gets me going, bro. Like I sit down and it's just like I just want to make stuff. Um,
Fucking
Let me see
awesome.
if I can find this easily. Where is it? If you just thank you for your patience,
Oh
everyone.
no, it's cool. What I'll do this. How about this? While you're looking, I'll just kind of play that pattern that was on the
Yeah,
song,
yeah. All right,
just to
cool.
show. Yeah, it was just like.
Yep. Mm.
So, I think we went a little faster though, right? It's like
Yeah.
so fucking hard to play for 5 minutes or whatever, 4 minutes straight. But
Can you imagine playing that song like straight through?
dude,
The whole time you just have to keep.
dude, when I did that video of me playing along, I remember by the end of it going, "Oh my god, don't fuck up, don't fuck up, don't."
I had to go through the same shit, man. Oh, I think I might have found. Is it this? Let me see. Oh no.
That was cool.
Is it this? No. That's another song. Wait, is it this or is this? Oh, this is it. That's it. Let me see if I can find a more complete version. Oh no, this is it. This is it. It's still a work in progress.
Oh shit, that's me.
It's you, bro.
Dude, that's fucking awesome. Dude, I love this, man. I love this.
Nice. All right, that's the
Fucking,
taste.
I can't wait to hear that.
Yeah.
That was like a world premiere.
You didn't even know, dude.
I
I
didn't even
made
know,
you.
dude.
I
I
made
didn't
two
even know.
songs.
That was the best surprise
Yeah.
ever.
Yeah. So I'm already halfway done with our next release.
Oh, dude.
So
I kind of want to now create more beats for you.
I think you should. I'm serious. I
Oh,
really think you
man.
should. So my goal is so I have the after this song we're putting out on Friday, I have 2 more songs coming with 2 other drummers, and then I have a whole group of other people that reached out, guitarists and bass player, all different musicians. So I want to get through like a bunch of them, but then I want to like circle back to back to another song with you, and it'll either be that or another one. You know what I mean? Like,
Oh, sweet.
or just another one. Who knows? But so yeah, I want to not just make one song with people, and then maybe down the road I could even try getting multiple people on a song. But that's
That's
down the
fucking
road.
awesome. I mean,
But,
I now remember that beat, but it's again, it's you made it come alive into something that you how about this? You created a character around that beat.
Yeah.
That is a
Yep.
person that is
Yep.
and has a story. That's
Mhm.
really cool, man. Because sometimes I'll make something, I'm like, yeah, it's fine. The groove
Yeah.
is fine, whatever. And again, it goes into some folder.
Yeah.
So cool.
Well, it's
So
all
cool to hear.
I was listening for like ear candy and stuff, and I like the little bell, little nuances you were doing and stuff. Same thing with the song we're putting out, or will be out by the time people hear this. Same thing. Like to me, that's ear candy. All that kind of quick little noodling on the, on your hi hat and the snare and stuff.
So I got
that
more.
kind of
I
stuff.
got more things than I'll put together a. I got to get on that. I've been this
Yeah.
setup here, by the way, for listeners, viewers, whatever. This is my teaching setup.
Yeah, it's awesome, man. It's really nice.
when I sit down behind here, I'm usually teaching. So then when I sit down behind here to create, I'm just like, I'm always like in the, oh, do I have to teach for 5 hours? No,
Yeah.
I gotta like, no, this is
Yeah.
playtime, uh, yeah, I'm inspired now to create some more stuff.
Yeah, well, you were a big inspiration for me too, even before I started, because you were putting out these nice videos where you had your mic up drums and stuff. And I had told you that when we were
That's right.
initially, talking, like we first met, and
That's right.
I had told you like that was something really important to me. So I'm grateful, like my first song back since my kind of recent hiatus, for listeners. My wife and I purchased a house, and that just came with a ton of responsibilities. So things with PhantasmaPhonic kind of got pushed to the side, but it was also because of an injury that kind of got exacerbated, like a neck injury I had, that got exacerbated from me working on the house. You know what I mean?
Oh,
So
got you.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
right.
yeah.
That's right. We had that
Yep.
conversation.
Yeah,
That's right.
I'll just tell your audience
Go
basically
ahead.
what
Yeah.
happened. So this was about 5 years ago. I was producing a band, and the singer, just straight up, man, was a complete alcoholic, right? And I was in the studio working, and when my birthday clicked over on midnight, um mind you, I wasn't even drinking, because I don't drink when I'm using my ears, because you can't really hear audio, right? You know what I mean? So he came in to say happy birthday, but in this complete drunken, like been drinking for hours kind of way. And he
Oh
threw
man.
me on the couch in the control room, and jumped on me to like kind of be like, yeah, happy birthday, bro, And he wound up pushing my neck into the corner of the couch. And with all of his like 200 and something body
Oh
weight, he was literally slamming his body, and he was so drunk. Everybody was screaming to get off of me. I was screaming. Everybody was screaming. He was so drunk. He just had no clue what this guy was. He had no clue what he was doing. And he wound up herniating. I think it's like the C3 or something, one of the discs in my spine. And to make a long story short, I was going through therapy with it and stuff. It obviously ended my time with the band, you know what I mean?
yeah.
Especially because he did not handle it well at all. He basically, it was one of those things where he never actually said sorry. He only said, I've already said sorry. You know what I mean? And you're like, dude, you never did. And even if you did, like, I still would love for you to pay for the hospital bills that year
Oh
I'm
God.
accruing, literally the thousands of dollars it's
Yeah.
costing. And it was a complete mess. And then he wound up just like ghosting me. Like I was in the band too, like playing in the band, and found out the band was together practicing, and he just fabricated a story that I was working with another band at the time. Like I was producing another band, because when we would come off the road, I would, if I could, I would schedule some production to make some money. So he fabricated a story for like one of our rehearsals. We would rehearse for like a week together, like before going out on tour. And I found out the band was together practicing without me. And when I talked to him, like, oh, we thought you were working with a band. That's what so-and-so said. And I
Oh
was
my
like,
God.
no. So I wound up just kind of like, it's like the dude hurt me, couldn't face that what he did was wrong. And then instead of making it right, he just pretended like he did, and then just ghosted me and just slowly pushed me out of the band. And he would keep messing with my head at shows. Like when we would play, he would do antics, which was cool. And we had some planned for shows. Like we had different antics we would do during shows, but then after the injury, I would tell him before every show, like, don't touch my head, man. And he would
Yeah.
still touch my head. And I'd literally be in the middle of, front of a full audience. And I'd be like, dude, you just aggravated the injury again. Anyway,
Oh my God.
long story short, I was going through therapy with it, and I'm not trying to take this podcast in a dark way, but
No, it's okay, man.
but just to give people a overview, and I'll get right back to the happy shit. But
No, it's cool, man.
right towards the end of me getting my herniated disc fixed, my mother was unfortunately diagnosed with cancer, and I started to take care of her. And we moved in together at my uncle at her brother's house, which was like an hour away from the therapy office. And bro, the last thing I was thinking about was my neck at that point
Oh
anyway.
yeah.
So I wound up kind of, I had like several sessions left where they were starting to now push the bone back, the disc back into place. And I stopped going. And then it kind of was okay for a couple years. And then when we bought the house, all of the like looking up and using
Oh
my
man.
hands
That's right.
completely exacerbated the issues. And all of these new symptoms came, like getting numbness in my fingers and
Yep.
stuff. So I wound up getting an MRI and finding out the herniated disc got significantly worse. We tried physical therapy a couple times, that didn't work. And the doctor straight up was like, I don't even think you should get shots. You should just go straight to getting the surgery. So they're going to operate. And then I made the appointment for the operation. And then about 3 weeks before the operation, the coronavirus happened and that got canceled. And I've just been kind of dealing with the symptoms. So basically now it's changed. It kind of keeps changing, I guess, because of the bone, the disc moving around. And I also have spurs or burrs, I guess they said, spurs growing on it.
Yes.
You know,
Okay, yeah.
because of the constant inflammation.
Yeah.
So that's causing pinching as well. So I basically, on these the pointer finger and the thumbs, I get these like hot needle pricks. And I've also been getting this complete like numbness in my right arm where I'll just literally I can't even hold my arm up. Like it just dies basically.
Oh,
And I have to kind of like find a position with my neck where I get like life back. So I have to be kind of mindful of a lot of things for now. And because it's up here, the spinal cord goes through. So I have to be mindful of it. Since it's actively changing, the doctor said you have to be very mindful. Like if my breathing changes, if my digestion changes, I have to immediately go to the doctor because it is at that point where it could eventually start to mess with my spinal cord at this point. So I'm going to be getting the surgery once all this stuff clears up and with the coronavirus and stuff, you know.
First of all, I hope that when you do, you know, when you're able to get the surgery again, I hope it really fixes you.
Thank you. Yeah, I hope so too.
You know, because I got to tell listeners, I have a little bit of experience with carpal tunnel syndrome and all that, and actually might go beyond carpal tunnel syndrome. You know, that what Will's talking about with the spine, right? And specifically the neck. Your nerve, the spine is what, right? It's what allows you to feel.
Yeah.
And any type of pinching of or like you said, the what are they called again? That the spurs on
yeah, I think he just called them spurs or something like that.
Where they're sticking off, I guess, and they're kind of like maybe every time you move, it's kind of maybe rubbing on the and it aggressively and injuring the or
it agitates it, inflames it.
Yeah, so it makes it incredibly difficult to, whether you're practicing your instrument, whether you're trying to produce music like yourself, it makes it incredibly difficult.
That's damn right.
It's one of those hurdles that, you know, somebody like Will who finds a way around it, it's quite difficult to find a way around it.
Oh, it's really testing my patience. Yeah. It's definitely testing my ability to problem solve. I'll tell you that much. Especially because sometimes, like I said, I have to sit in a weird way. I'll have to slouch in a weird way just to get feeling in my hand properly and be like, all right, let me get through this like couple licks that I'm trying to record on guitar real fast. It's like that. Yeah, definitely. Definitely. I mean, I was right at the point of needing surgery. You know what I mean?
And about that, you know, that's another thing listeners need to keep in mind, right? All the stories of bands that you hear and the personalities, you know, there are more, how about this? There are more bands that fail than bands that make it, right?
Without a doubt, yeah.
And they come with stories like this.
Yeah, some have tragic reasons why they failed.
And, you know, and it's a real damn shame.
Worse than mine.
It's a real damn shame that, you know, like the personality who gets all of the attention can't just realize the importance of everybody else in the band.
Yep.
And that really is what, just that alone, right? Yep. Just I'm better. I'm more important.
Yep.
And in your drunk state, you know, you can think about when you're drunk like that, when you're drunk like that, there is no stopping of judgment in your behavior.
Right.
So your behavior could probably be its most primal, but in terms of you're so careless, right? And to somebody like yourself to like, well, first of all, you're not a big guy. Like you're like me. No. We're not big guys.
Yeah.
So then to be thrown on a couch, obviously it was out of love or fun or whatever you want to.
It wasn't love, but it was fun. Yeah.
It was fun, right?
It was to be fun, I think.
For him, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
And then look, man, I'm easily guilted. I grew up Catholic.
My man.
I would feel so fucking guilty if I injured you that way. you know, and to not
Yep.
take responsibility for it,
Yep.
to not even just, I'm really sorry. And, you know, really what you said
I
before
know.
too about like, hey, you mind helping me pay for these hospital bills? You know,
Yep.
like, and then to be ghosted like that, you know, it really defines who that individual is, which
Well,
is,
I
you
would
know,
like to further define this individual by saying that even after me doing that, this was a band that I was in and I was producing, right? After this happened, we were right at the tail end of finishing this EP that I was mixing for the band and producing for the band. And I told him, bro, like, I'm not in the band anymore. Like, you can't take this music. Like, this
oh
literally, your
shit.
band literally sounds like me now. Like, not even like, I quite literally made the band sound like my sound. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like
Yeah.
it's my sound. It's my production value. It's my programming. It's my guitar playing. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
I literally wrote your 3-part harmonies, my bro. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You can't take this music anymore. Strip out, you wrote the song, like the chord progression and the vocal lyrics and the vocal lead melody. That's what you made. I made majority of everything else. Strip out what I made and just keep your song, keep your lyrics, just get it redone. And I told him, there was another really key thing I told him. I said, bro, if you go to a Alcohol Anonymous and stop drinking, I will, number one, also stop drinking. I don't drink a lot, but just socially, whatever. I
Yeah.
said, I'll stop drinking to help, to support you. And I'll stay in the band, dude, because I know that we're working on this together. Like, your alcoholism caused a physical injury to somebody. And I am not trying to curse you for it. I'm trying to see you through this, and I will support you. And he literally said, no, I'm not going.
You're
And
a
I told
saint.
him, well, then don't take my music. And he wouldn't say that he wouldn't take my music, but he promised that he would at least give me credit for it. And I found out right as I started PhantasmaPhonic, about a month in, and this was about 3 or 4 years after the injury, he took the songs that I had made with him and he put them out. Ready? Not only did he put them out, he didn't even put it out under the band's name. He put it out under his own name, and he did not give me any credit whatsoever. It's literally his own full name and a picture of him holding a guitar in the front, like he even played one note of
Oh,
guitar on this thing, right? And he gets all the credit for it. Now, I don't really, I know it's not really something that's going to go really far, and I'm not going to like lose money or anything. You know what I'm saying? I'm not really
yeah.
like worried about that. But it's, to have something you put so much effort into. When I had put everything I had ever learned in music into these 5 songs, because I was certain that if we could get these correctly done, that we could make some real money and we could go somewhere with this band. I was not joking around. You know, this was a
Yeah.
band that every member was, you know, already touring for months at a time. It's not like we had people with full-time jobs or kids. We were all ready to do this. Every one of
Yeah.
us was ready to do this. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And we had an excellent singer. He wrote really good lyrics, really good melodies. You know what I mean? We had a really good band that was not egotistical. And I was producing, and I felt really good. I felt really confident about my production and what I was putting into it. And I believed fully that we were going to be able to make this. So it's not just songs that I produced. It's a culmination of everything I had up until that point put into 5 songs, right? Like I
Yeah.
said, even his vocal harmonies I wrote. And to have it be stripped away from me because my guitar talent was stripped away from me at the time with the injury and the neck injury and all of that, it just felt like, man, I can't even begin to tell you the darkness I felt through all of that, you know.
Oh man.
The sheer hatred, man, I'll just be honest, man, the sheer hatred that I have to even still to this day like learn to like work through. And just, you know, the guy's play, I don't know if the coronavirus is going to change it. He's playing a show like in October, and you know he's going to play these songs and he's going to use the backing tracks that I created. You know what I'm saying? He's got a video on Instagram where it shows like my new song release, and it's nothing but the clip, the intro music, right, to the song. It's not even the song, it's just like a clip of the intro music that I wrote exclusively.
Holy shit.
He didn't even have anything to do with the intro part. You know what I'm saying? So it's like he's even clipping parts that aren't even where he's even singing on, just clipping parts that are completely stuff I made and being like, my new song is out, you know. Dude, it's a real, and it really showed me, because during that time, right, I was writing 1 song every week,
Yeah.
right? All I kept thinking to myself, man, if you want to put songs out, just make new songs, my
Mm-hmm.
guy. take the songs you made and redo them and then put them out yourself and be proud of that because you did that. But instead you're taking somebody else's production that was giving it to you for free, but you instead like quite literally physically assaulted as your thank you and then ghosted. You know what I mean? Like, I got to calm down, man. It really pisses me off. You know what I mean?
Dude, I'm livid. Just,
yeah,
I'm an empath. So like when you're telling me this shit, I'm like, dude, I'd lose my mind. I probably, man, I don't know.
And it goes to show you, like, in this industry, you know what I mean? There's a lot of snaky people and you have to protect yourself. And I'm learning still, I have to get better at protecting my intellectual property better and making sure that that kind of stuff doesn't matter. I did look into a lawyer. It would be a couple grand just to send this guy a cease and desist letter. And I said to the lawyer, I'm like, I know he's not going to cease and desist from a letter, dude. Because the lawyer's literally like, oh, he may stop after that. I'm like, I know he's not going to. I'm like, so then what's the next step? He goes, well, at that point, then we'd take him to court. And I'm like, so I'm going to spend $2 to $3 grand to start the process, then thousands of dollars to take the guy to court. And if I even win, what am I going to win? Okay, he'll take them off Reverb Nation, and I just spent, I don't know, 4 to 12 grand to get music taken off Reverb Nation. Like, what is that? I mean, that's not a good use of my money, or of my like emotion too. You know what I mean?
Of course, dude. I mean, you ultimately made the smartest decision, which was the toughest.
Yeah. Goddamn high road.
You know what though, man? You're not defined by. Right. No, you're not defined by that. You're defined by what you produced. He is. But you're defined by what you, with all of those complications, all those hurdles, what you created during that time. And then how you bounce back too.
I get to move away from this being defined as somebody who can just keep writing music, and he gets to be defined as somebody who is literally a thief. And an abuser and an alcoholic, a physical abuser and an alcoholic. You know what I mean? And that's fine. And I wish him the best. And I truly hope that he can work through his alcoholism, because I honestly still care about this person fully. You know, I really do, which is why I said I would stick around. You know what I mean? I didn't say I'd stick around for my health. Obviously, you don't hang around this person for your health. Take it from me.
You're a good person, man. You're like, because I wouldn't have done that. You're a very good person. And you know what? That guy's lucky that you're not saying his name right now.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. You know what I mean? Yeah. Absolutely.
You know, and by the way, first of all, if you decided to say his name, that's like a boo-hoo. Don't do that in the fuck that. If you wanted to say his name, I would fully support it, and I would actually back you up on it. You have plenty of evidence.
Yeah, you know what? I'll tell you right now, you know why I'm not even going to say his name? It's not even because of the high road. It's because if I say it, then people will check it out, and it'll give him more fucking views.
That's true, too, actually. That's true, too.
But you know what, though? But it is what it is.
I do want to say, though, to listeners out there, what I'm trying to do with this show is fuck that, those like, ooh, don't. Yeah. I'm scared to say the truth.
Yeah.
Fucking say the truth.
No, there's certain things that do need to change in our industry. That's for sure. Yeah. Like speaking up about like wolves in sheep's clothing in our industry is something that definitely needs to change. And the other big one that needs to change is fanboys for software companies that are not pulling their weight. That's another big one. You know what I mean? Like Native Instruments, you know, that's a really big problem. You really need to get your shit together, you know, who charge premium prices and then has such a poor support team that there's literally this guy named like Evil Dragon or something. It's this dude with long hair who he's like this looking in the camera, who you reach out to him and he'll try to track down tech support people in Native Instruments. There's whole forums about it. That stuff is gross. Yeah. And I mentioned it once on Native Instruments Reddit, and fanboys literally were just attacking me. You know what I mean? And that's the problem is fanboys. I'm really happy that your experience was positive. That's not ours. Get in the back of the room. We're trying to have a real conversation right now because there's some shit that does need to change with some of these companies. So that's definitely something that I would be in support of. It's something I've hoped to, even with my own channel, be able to do, especially with like story times, like stories I've had with really, you know, just software companies just really being assholes in tech support. You know what I mean? Ignoring you for a week or two till you literally go on Twitter and you're like, dude, can you please look at my ticket? Oh, so sorry. I don't want your apology, man. I want the 2 weeks back of my music career that I've been waiting for you to follow up with me on.
Just to also kind of clarify, right? Will's talking about specifically like companies that create music software, and it could be for any reasons, to make synthesizers. It could be
Exactly.
plugins that
Yep.
EQs and
Yep.
compressors.
Yep.
And when you're working on either a PC or a Mac computer or whatever, and you're using a DAW, which is where you record all of your tracks and whatever and put them together and mix it, you'll literally purchase some sort of compressor or EQ plugin or something like that, and you'll spend. Give me a number of how much you've spent on one like thing.
Oh, it depends, because I usually try to go for sales. But for instance, the Native Instruments stuff was about $600, I think, something like that.
So think about that, guys. Like $600, and your goal, Will, I imagine, was to expand your musical library of sounds and just to get more tools to create with, right?
Yeah.
$600, right? And when you have a complication with these softwares, what you're saying is you have the inability to use what you paid for, sort of, right?
Yep. It's like rendered useless. Yeah.
And then you're trying to get the company to help you fix the problem, and they're ignoring you.
Yeah.
Which is like, hey, it's like, we gave you a product, you have the product, you paid us for the product. Tough shit.
Yeah.
And you're right. That is extremely fucked up.
Yep. They started this new model now where they don't even have like direct tech support. They only have like a public forum in which maybe the tech support people will write you back. But a lot of times it's just customers helping customers at this point, which has got to be one of the most pathetic things I've seen. Customer. And then, but they also have to approve your posts. So that's the other thing. They don't even always approve people's posts, which could be because they believe that it's a repost or something, but that's not always the case, man. Sometimes there's a nuance that makes it a little bit different. You tried everything in the forum. It's not like I did tech support in my 20s. I literally worked for Gucci in New York City doing tech support. I'm not a non-tech savvy guy. I literally was a tech support agent for years.
So there you go.
You know what I mean? Like I used to remote into Cisco routers and Cisco switches and VPNs and set up tokens and stuff like that. So I know what it's like to be on the other end. I know what it's like to be like, I really don't want to take this call, and just putting in some bullshit response in the support ticket and hitting send. I know what that feeling is like. I just didn't do it.
Yeah.
These guys are starting to do it, where you literally will write a paragraph. Hey, this is the issue I'm having. These are the things I try. And then they write back with, try this. And it's one of the things you said you tried. And now you have to wait another entire week for them to write back again. And you're like, you're not reading, But anyway, that's all negative crap, man. But it is stuff that does need to change because, it stifles creativity, and it really could mess up things with people's finances because, we don't have an HR department when we do freelance. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And we have a big problem called non-billable hours. That's a huge problem. So, every time we do anything, unless it's directly related to the gig we're getting paid for, it's all non-billable hours. So every single time a piece of software goes down, it's looked at as non-billable hours. It's hours I'm spending, and I can't turn around and go, all right, Native Instruments, you took 10 hours for me to fix this problem. I'm going to bill you 10 hours at $45 an hour. They'd laugh. But I don't get to turn around and laugh at them when it's taken them 2 weeks and I paid them $600.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
And you know what, for listeners, just to paint out a scenario where this could fuck you. All right. Will, let's say, is engineering and producing for an artist, has put in, let's say, 2 weeks of work on, let's say, 5 songs. All right. That artist is now coming in to do their final vocal recording.
Oh, this is a great example.
Right. So everything's done.
Yeah.
Right. But the most important part, which is the vocal part, that person is coming in to like get the actual take that will be in the recording. And let's say one of these pieces of software that Will purchase, because by the way, because some people pirate, and I don't like that. I don't think that's cool.
No, I own all my software,
plugins and shit. I think you should pay for it. They do work hard on it. It is amazing software. So so Will purchases this software, could be hundreds of dollars. The person shows up. Will has no fucking clue what's about to happen, which is that software is basically going to go like this. Hey, Will.
That's how it feels too.
For listeners, I'm holding up 2 middle fingers.
Yeah, that's how it feels.
So, I mean, like, and what sucks about that is not only did Will that person probably showed up, right? Will either has to go around the bout way, which is not what he planned.
Yeah.
It might change the mix of whatever the song, the production is. Like, he's got to retool everything that day alone, which could have been maybe 3 hours of work, let's say 4 hours of work, is he can't do anything.
Yep.
Maybe the vocalist, you know what, I don't want to do this take today. And then you don't even know, Will doesn't even know when he's going to be able to get back to work the way it's supposed to.
That's exactly right. Yep.
So you don't know if you lost one day. You don't know if you've lost 10 days.
Yep.
You don't know if you've lost a client.
Yep.
You don't know if you've lost future clients.
Yep.
So that's what Will's talking about.
And it's your livelihood. So you can imagine what this does to your anxiety.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And all you could think is, I need to go back in my studio and I need to start working on this issue, because every moment that I'm not working on this issue, I'm just in never land, just floating around in the ether, wondering if it's going to be an hour or a month that it takes me to resolve this.
That could be like a 9 to 5-er. I have to print things out so that I can have clients sign forms. Your printer breaks, and now you are expected to, at 5 o'clock, you know what? No, you're not going home. You're going to fucking fix the printer.
Yep.
That's essentially what this is for you. So,
if that scenario as a worker makes you upset, that's freelance, baby. That's freelance. Like, that's exactly how it is, man. And the way you said it too, where like the issue happens like right at the tail end of it too, man, it's I swear, if computers don't have some sort of consciousness, their luck is incredible, I have to say, because it's always at the worst time.
I've heard a great quote, and I love it. I love saying it because it makes me laugh when these things happen, which lightens the frustration a little bit. But when you give technology the opportunity, it will stab you in the back.
Yeah.
I mean, I've experienced it myself, but not like that though.
My thing is, I've never met a 1 or a 0 that I trust. Not once, man.
I love that.
Not once.
I
have 3 backups of everything that I do on my computer.
See, you're a smart guy.
You got to, man.
Smart guy,
you got to. I thought, I have the dumbest crashes in my life.
My asshole just went like this. Yeah. I just got really nervous.
Yeah.
I'm all tight now.
You're like, that 2 terabyte that I have needs a friend, needs a clone partner.
Hey, man, can we hold this off? I got to go make back. I'm kidding.
Yeah, I got to hit that backup right now. Yeah, man.
Will, let's get into some more PhantasmaPhonic stuff.
Yeah.
Take it away, man.
Yeah. So, let's see. What else? So this is going to be my first song of 2020, right? So basically I moved, my wife and I, we bought this house. Like I had said, injury got inflamed, yada, yada. Long story short, I tried pushing through it. I eventually just kind of pumped the brakes, and I just focused on my Patreon, which is something I want to discuss. So through all of this, initially when I first started PhantasmaPhonic, I was actually able to start a Patreon, which like grew pretty well. I'm like so happy. I'm so proud, and I'm so encouraged by it, because I have like this group of people who are part of my Patreon. And for those that don't know, Patreon is like it's a service where you could support your favorite content creators, and you could support them financially, and it's usually on a rewards type system. So like, for instance, with mine, it starts at $1 a month. So for $1 a month, you can have your name etched in at the end of every one of my music videos.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, it's just $1, right? And then $2, you get the music video earlier than everybody else, up to 24 hours. And then $5 a month, and you get like an additional MP3 every week, like a redux or like a remix or something of the song, or an older song or whatever. So if anybody's interested, patreon.com/PhantasmaPhonic. And just so you guys know, PhantasmaPhonic is with a PH.
Yeah. Yes.
No F's.
No F's. Yeah.
No
Both
F's.
are PHs. Yeah.
Yeah.
Phantasma and phonic. PH.
Yes.
Absolutely.
One word. PhantasmaPhonic. PH.
And exactly how you would spell each word by itself.
Yeah.
Just put them together.
Put together. So it's PhantasmaPhonic. PhantasmaPhonic.
That's it.
So I have a Patreon, and I started focusing on there. I have like over a couple decades worth of songs that I've created, just through my life, that I've been holding on to for years and years. And I've just been slowly putting them out as Patreon only releases, as I've been gearing back up to start getting together with releasing songs again, with our song being the first one back. I'm not quite sure if it'll be back to weekly releases yet, especially if I am collaborating, because it adds like another variable to the mix. Do I get the video in time from the other person?
Yeah.
And I don't want to put that pressure on myself.
Yeah, man.
And especially the collaborator. I want this all to be chill. So I started focusing on that, and just writing out like vlogs every week on that and stuff. So this week I get to finally tell everybody this week's song is a new song. So I'm really excited about that. And another thing I really want to talk about is that I hit over 100 followers on my YouTube page the other day, which means I was able to make a custom URL.
Nice.
And when you put music out on YouTube, it is really hard to grow a following.
Yes.
It's really easy when you make like even anything clickbaity, even like, how did I mix this song? I bet you once I start doing other videos, it'll probably grow much quicker. But just as like an artist putting out music videos, it was very difficult.
Yep.
But I'm so proud of myself, man. I made 100 subscribers. So I made my URL this morning. So now my URL is youtube.com/phantasmaphonic. Very excited about that.
Congrats, Will. That's a big
thank
deal.
you very much. So that's really great, man. I'm really, really happy about that. So
awesome, dude.
So that's kind of where I'm at for that. I'm actually gonna take a screenshot of this moment because I need to smile because I need a picture for tomorrow. So that's where I'm at with that. So then we're gonna be back. I'm gonna be back now on YouTube. My first video coming back tomorrow, and then from there, I'm just gonna keep going, putting out more music videos, and then I'm gonna try doing like other videos. So I want to do like producer reacts videos. You know, like reacts to like a new album that came out, or like an old song where I was singing terribly when I was like a teenager, you know, stuff like that. I was thinking of doing mix down videos, or like behind the scenes where like I mixed breakdown videos where I show people how I actually mixed the song that I did. That was another one.
That's cool.
I have it written down. I have like a list of like some ideas that I've wanted to branch into just to start expanding my YouTube channel. But
yeah, man.
Anyway, so that's that.
You have a cool Instagram page too, man, by the way, the PhantasmaPhonic Instagram page.
I'm on it every day.
Cool.
Yeah. If anybody wants to be in touch with me, especially on an everyday basis, I'm definitely on Instagram.com/PhantasmaPhonic. I post every morning, and that's where I'm definitely on all the time. And I push a lot of my content from Instagram onto YouTube and other stuff too. So there's a ton of music on there. I'm on Spotify, all the major all the major streaming companies, PhantasmaPhonic, I'm on. I have a friend of mine who he curates a playlist of all my PhantasmaPhonic songs. So even on Spotify, there's a PhantasmaPhonic playlist that has all my songs in order, because I release singles. So in Spotify, it like stops after every song.
Gotcha.
So a buddy of mine who's been like a fan of mine as well, who I'm super grateful for many years, he's curated this playlist so they could play straight through. So there's that
fantastic.
Too. Yeah.
That's awesome, man.
So yeah,
that's
man.
Exciting, dude.
Yeah.
So when you know, probably an hour ago when we were talking about just the ability to have this data bank of a history of your creations, got me thinking about, you know, when we think of like elderly people, when we think of our grandparents, you know, we think of it from this 20th century perspective.
Yep.
You know, but when we're elderly, we're going to have things like this content to show.
That's damn right.
And, you know, like you showed me, actually, it was really cool because we were on the phone talking one time, and we were talking about music, that MIDI music that was like maybe mid to late 90s or something like that. And I mentioned the video game like GoldenEye, right? And then you were like, oh, dude, I have a whole folder of things that I used to create music with those sounds, right? So that's an example of something to me. Now, this is me as like a fan of PhantasmaPhonic. It would be like, it's really cool to see a different perspective of a decade that I hold like as very special to me, like the 90s.
Right. Yeah.
So like to hear young Will in the 90s, what he created back then.
Oh yeah.
You know, it's like a measurement of who you are, but also like your skill set back then. Like, okay, wow, this is pretty creative for back then. You know, it's just a really cool in-depth. I like the in-depth
Yeah.
detailic nature of the content that I like to absorb. So,
Yeah.
so this is something that you're creating a cool future for your kids, for your grandkids, you know,
Yeah.
if you choose to, for your
Right.
family members, right? So your friends, I think it's fucking awesome, man.
Well, when I was producing and recording bands for a living every day, one of the things I used to tell people is we're here to archive what you believe is your biggest gifts to the world. You know what I mean? I'm just here to help you archive this stuff so that when you're older, you'll be able to show your grandkids and be like, remember back then, you know, remember this is 40, 50 years ago now. So that's exactly right, man. That's exactly right.
Awesome.
Do you want to hear some stuff from
Absolutely
through the years? So I'll show you like some random stuff. So one of the things I've always been into is electronic music. And even though guitar is like my main instrument, I've made quite a few stuff without guitar. And I started out, well, I didn't start out this way, but I had Fruity Loops. This was in 1998, 1999. Fruity Loops had just came out. I had a Pentium 2 laptop. It was probably, I don't know, man, like 250 megahertz or something. I mean,
wow.
Yeah, it was a Sony Vaio. It started breaking immediately. It was terrible, and had Windows XP on it, right? So I put Fruity Loops 1 on it, and I was making songs like this. So this is from 1999. What? Yeah. So that's like some stuff I would do, you know.
Man, it
like,
sounded in the beginning like something Tom York would write a song to.
Oh, I could see that actually. Right? Here's other stuff. I made this maybe in 2000, 2001, maybe, right? Totally different now. Ready? This is like acoustic guitar. So I was like really into like acoustic stuff like that, you know.
Wow, I hear the production in that too.
Thanks. Yeah, that was an acoustic guitar with like one of those piezo pickups, right? And it went into, if I remember correctly, an Alesis compressor, like one of those like really common ones everybody had back then. It was like $150 guy. It was really good, really good. Here's something. Let's see. I have stuff with vocals. If you want to hear me sing.
Yeah, man.
All right, here's something I did like a long time ago too. It's like probably from 2008 or so. So, you know,
I like that. That's cool, man.
Awesome. Yeah, moody stuff. It's always like, I like making moody music, obviously. Yeah, it's like another old jam.
When did you do this one?
This was from the 90s too, late 90s. Yeah. you like The Cure, right? You remember The Cure, right? You
I
like The
do.
Cure?
Yeah. I'm not. I don't know a lot of the material.
Oh, I see. I see. I see. All right, I'll skip to something else. Here's oh I also do like soundtracks for like documentaries and stuff. There's a buddy of mine. His name is Billy Tooma, Tooma. Excellent guy. This guy's super cool, and he makes documentaries. And him and I've worked together on several projects now, so I've gotten to do music for him on
Awesome.
a couple like aviator documentaries and stuff. First person to cross the Atlantic with a partner.
Wow.
That was one of them. Like really cool stuff, and he just goes in on detail, man. This guy is woof, he's top notch, right?
That's
So I've gotten to
awesome.
do some stuff with him. So I've made like stuff like kind of like just real chill. I've done stuff
Man.
like this with him, like string stuff. That's not it. Is it this one? Like stuff like that.
Yeah, man.
I wonder if I could find it quickly, but I'd made the music for my wedding with my wife.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. This might be one. This is one of the songs. And a lot of my music, I like to do things that maybe I might even know, right? Like that little dun-dun-dun-dun, right? That melody is derived of a melody that the guitarist in a band that I was in high school had come up with from an old song. That it was like this little and you know what I mean? So like sometimes I like putting these little Easter eggs in my songs that even I might be the only one who even knows what I did there. You know
You
what
know
I'm
what that
saying?
means, man? You're a composer.
Hell yeah, dude. That's all I want
That's
to
what the
do.
great composers would do, man.
Well, we'll see. I don't know if I'm great, but I'm definitely making music. I'm definitely making music. I don't know if
Yes,
it's good or not.
it's good.
I'm just here to make it. So yeah, so that's like some old stuff. And then like I've also done stuff like here's stuff that I've done with other artists. Like this is a song that I had done with a singer. So I made the beat and all of this, and then the singer sang. Her name is Valerie Bendish. Valerie Bendish.
Oh,
Yep, you can
I
look
know
her up.
Val. Yeah,
You know Val. Yep.
yeah.
Yep. This is a song I did with her.
He says he loves me, maybe always has. His super baby, and I'm down with that. We get high, high on the moment. Always telling me he loves it, and I always show him that he's mine. Just can't help it. I have come to find baby boy still blows my mind. You keep me singing in the dark. You brought a flame where there were sparks, and the sparks keep flying. We're lucky stars shining. We're lucky stars shining.
So there you go. You know, there's me
Very
working
cool,
with
man.
somebody else. I could even show you. Here's like another song I had done. This is a friend of mine who used this as an engagement song, and they sent me. Was it this? Nope. Was it this? Nope. They sent me this. like a phone recording of them playing it with a ukulele. You know what I'm saying? Right? So then I took that and then I came back with this. This is the instrumental. Right, so I made this whole song around it, and then this is what it turned into be.
I love that, man.
Cool, cool.
That was a cool. All right, I love that.
Cool.
Lot. I like that a lot.
Awesome. That's great, dude.
Wow.
Yeah, man, just tons and tons of stuff, man. Like my wife and I, we made Christmas music. Have you heard any of these?
No, I don't think I have.
So my wife and I, we were making covers of Christmas songs like Silent Night, but in the minor key. Ready? Real goofy shit, man.
Silent night, holy night, all is calm, all is bright, round yon virgin mount.
Merry Christmas, everyone. It gets good. Hang on. All right, it's a long intro. It eventually gets to this. Whoa. Right? Do you know Casey Lee Morgan? He's the drummer on this. He was part of the Jersey scene for sure. Really great guy. So yeah, we did a lot of that. Like,
yo, your wife's voice is beautiful.
it's ridiculous, right? So
Beautiful, man.
When we were dating, I was in a band, right? And she asked me like multiple times, like, can I sing in your band? But I didn't know she could sing. So I kept telling her no. I was like 19. I had no idea. Like my bandmates would be like, dude, like, why does your girlfriend keep asking? Like she could be in our band, dude. Like keep your girlfriend at home. Like it was like that kind of attitude. And then like one day, like we heard her sing and we were like, dude, you're really good. Like you're actually really good. And she's really good at making harmonies, like those spooky kind of harmonies too. If I could find it, I have a song that we made with her from the 90s.
Oh, shit.
It's the first song ever made with my wife, actually. And it's with a friend of mine who, Aaron Bazarab is his name. And him and I, we worked together really well, like growing up. And made a lot of music together, like a lot of like experimental music and stuff. We were both like into like anything weird like Radiohead, but then like heavy stuff like Meshuggah and stuff too, you know? Yeah, so we would try to like kind of combine weird things like that. Mm-hmm. And also, you remember the band Candira? Remember them? They were like a hardcore band, like I think it was Jersey, like a Jersey hardcore band, but they would have breakdowns that were like complete like jazz pieces. Oh, so it'd literally be like this crazy intense, like hard hitting, and then this crazy jazz breakdown, but like kids would still mosh to it. So we were into like all that kind of stuff. But let me see. I think I could find it. Let me see. Maybe it's under Aaron Bazarab. Yeah, like these were some of the, let me see if this is, yeah, this is me and Aaron just playing. Like we would make weird shit like this. Like just really strange stuff we were always after. I want to find this song for you guys though. Is it under Kate? Oh, I guess not. Yeah, I know. Oh, here it is. Yes. Okay, this is it. So this is a drum machine playing a drum beat, and then two guitars. My friend Aaron and I, we both had guitars that had the MIDI plug-in. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm talking about? Yep. So we were able to do like with one guitar, we could do guitar and MIDI. So we're both doing this. So everything we hear is literally just two guitars and drums, and then Kate singing.
Wow.
She's gonna hate me that I'm playing this on this, but I don't care. There you go. Oh man, really weird. It's like no real instruments. It's
like
like
it,
noises and
That's
bips
cool,
and
man.
boops.
I like that, dude.
You know, all kinds of stuff, man. I mean,
Really cool,
A lot
man.
of experimenting.
Can I ask you to play
Yeah.
real fast? Just why don't you do like 2 or 3 little clips of one of the 30 weeks from just like a little bit of
Yeah,
you pick
absolutely.
like 3 of them maybe.
Absolutely. Okay, so here is here's one song I really like. Actually, I'm going to show you this. This is the song that started it all. This is the song I made in 2018, and I was like, I'm going to start PhantasmaPhonic. That's this song. Yeah, so that's basically what started it. My first video I made was
Wow.
that,
That
and I
sounds
didn't
like-
release it until.
Was that a
Go ahead.
cajon sound?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
That
like
sounds
hand
great.
percussion. Yep.
Love that, man.
Here's like another song from around the same time period. This is like a song in like an odd time signature. You know, it just keeps going, but that's definitely, you know, another one of my jams.
That's awesome. I was trying to figure out that time signature.
So here's like some trap music that I did. And the brass has guitar going with it, you know, or in the chorus it does. So you get the feel of that one, you know. Here's like another sick groove. And then here's something totally rock, totally different. It's like 90s rock. Check this little bridge out. I'm really proud of this bridge. I played these drums with my fingers and did not quantize them, so it has human feel. So, you know, there's that
cool,
one.
Man. Really good.
Yeah. I mean, I really hope people come check out my channel, man. There's all kinds of stuff. There's like a lot of like dancey stuff, like groove stuff. A lot of my stuff has grooves, different backbeats, stuff like that. And you'll hear like no shortage of like guitar riffs. Like here we go. It's like a lot of instrumental guitar stuff. So you get the point, you know?
Yeah, man. Dude.
Yeah, there's all kinds of stuff, man. It's, you know, it's like an island thing. This will be the last thing I'll show you. This is actually the channel video. Like when you go to my channel, it's the first thing that comes up. All right, so, you know, that's about it.
Yeah, man. There's a lot to listen to.
There's a lot, yeah.
There's a lot of unique sounds, but also familiar with elements of familiarity. Yep. I can't say that fucking word.
You should never feel lost in any of my songs, but
Yeah.
you should always feel like it's the first time you're hearing that type sound.
Yes.
That's my goal, at least.
Absolutely. It's a definition of sonic umami. So many
Ooh,
flavors.
I like that.
Yeah, man.
Awesome. I like it.
Yeah, man.
Great,
Will.
man. Thank you.
Will, thank you so much for, first of all, putting in the work on something that, again, I thought was just sitting there.
Yeah,
it was inspirational too. I mean, so Will put in a lot of work. I did barely anything. So thank you again. That's going to be premiering. I think, well, as we're speaking tomorrow, which would be Friday.
Yep.
But by the time you hear this, it'll be out. Please you're going to go to either youtube.com/PhantasmaPhonic.
Yep.
Okay. Or is it Instagram.com/PhantasmaPhonic? Or
Yep.
at PhantasmaPhonic.
Or at PhantasmaPhonic. Yep. Either one. That's my username on Instagram.
Patreon.
Patreon.
Is it patreon.com/PhantasmaPhonic?
That's correct.
So easy, man. You make it
It
so
is.
easy for the.
I made it easy. The only thing hard is the spelling.
Not so much though. Either way, I'm going to put it, man, very clearly
Awesome.
all of these links.
Great.
I
Thank
really,
you.
This is not something that you just go to and it's there and you check it out. You can interact with Will.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay? And he interacts with his
Yeah.
patrons or just people who are
Yeah.
fans. And
Yeah, even on Instagram or on YouTube, if you leave a comment, like I always write people back and stuff. I like to engage with people for sure.
That's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
And Will's a great dude. Will, thank you. Thanks for being on the show, man.
Thank you for having me, man. I'm really appreciative. It's my first podcast I was on, so thank you so much.
I've been waiting to have you on, and I wish that there wasn't a quarantine because we would have been in person doing this. We would have had our instruments out, probably jam. But you have an invitation for when we can do that, and I can't wait for that, man.
Yes, me too. Me too.
All right, Will Lewis from PhantasmaPhonic.
Yep.
Check out all his stuff. It'll be in all the stuff on the page that this podcast is on. Thank you for listening to BaDumBizz. Thank you, Will.
Thank you.
Take care, everybody.
Bye.